So this question is from Andrew, and he is asking, the angels guarding the gates of New Jerusalem, who are they there to keep out if Satan and all denying Christians have been eradicated?
Jay, if you want to jump in, like by all means, I'm.
So I first didn't know what was being referred to and where Andrew got this, but our producer pointed out to me that if we go to the book of Revelation, Revelation 21, and we are looking at verse 12, specifically in the New Living Translation, it's going to say the city wall was broad and high. This speaking of the New Jerusalem, the wall was broad and high and with 12 gates guarded by 12 angels. So it specifically says there are 12 gates guarded by 12 angels. Almost all the other translations I see will say at the gates were 12 angels. So there's a difference there to say there's angels at the gates and that the angels are specifically guarding the gates. Now it's a reasonable inference at first blush that, okay, well, why are there angels there? Well, it must be they're guarding the gates. So I think the New Living Translation is making a deduction. They're making an interpretation and then adding their guess for what's going on in that translation. And sometimes, and we might look at it later today, I like how the NLT brings out better meaning than other translations. But this is one of the times where I think they might have read a little bit too far into it. And really, there could be other reasons. Like you walk to church and there's people guarding the entrance to the church, right? No, I mean, you got people standing there. What else would be the reason they're standing there at the church, right? Or is it just they're greeting or they're playing some other role, make people feel welcome? There's a lot of things that would take place at gates too in the Bible. There was a lot of judgment. The elders would be there and doing business when, what was his name? Pilate. When Pilate issued the rulings that condemned Jesus, he was speaking from a place right there in a gate. And we have found that gate. In fact, it's really interesting. So there's a lot of significance to gates, so much meaning there. And I think we can't rush to conclude what it means, why the angels were there. And Tina, I'd love to hear your thoughts too about that.
Yeah. So when I was kind of like, I don't remember, because I remember reading the question. I was like, I don't remember ever saying guarding, because but I'm a King James version. I like New King James Version too. That's fine. Or NIV. I think I've read it as well, and I've never seen that, so that makes sense if it's a certain version. But if you go to the original Greek, and you look at the verse, it's very clear that it never indicates in any way that angels are guarding. That it just says that the angels are there. So if you go, like I said, we always talk about this Blue Letter Bible. I love this this website because it every verse you can go through and look at the original, either Greek or Hebrew or Aramaic that it was written in. And so when you go to Revelation chapter 21 and verse 12, it says, in 12 gates, and at that word at the gates is epi. And so at the gates were 12 angels, angelos. And so the only word that would indicate like what they're doing there is the word at, or is the word that's being translated is epi, which is like, I would think that's kind of like what we get the word like epidermis, like above, near, kind of a word. And it just means upon, position, over, at, against. It's a very much a preposition word. It has no indication of any kind of guard. That's not in any essence of the meaning of this word. It just means to be next to it. And yeah, like Jay's saying, like there is different meanings for people to be at the gate. Like if you remember in the book of Proverbs, chapter 31, talking about, the virtuous woman, her husband sits in the gate, which is just like a position of, authority. And so like these angels, maybe they're special. They have a certain role there just to, to be there, to greet, to, be happy for these people, to worship the Lord, to be like, let's worship God as you come in here. This is a place of worship, and just like, like Jay's saying, at a church, people greet you as you come into the church. They're definitely not there to guard anything. At my church, we have greeters, and, they have, bulletins. They're there to, be a smiling face. Not, they don't have weapons or anything like that. So I definitely, I think, yeah, I don't know why this translation translated it in that way. But there's definitely no indication by any means of the word in the original text that indicates that they're in any way guarding, because there's nothing to be guarded from, like you're saying, which was a very logical thought, Andrew. So I appreciate you bringing that up, because it's very, very true. There's nothing shall enter that shall defile, or anything, nothing that will be in or around that will in any way bring any harm, that needs to be guarded against, which is such a beautiful thought, that will never be anything, to worry about ever again. That's why it will be heaven. So yeah, no need for guards there. We'll just have people, basically angels there, celebrating and worshiping and being, blessing God's name with us. So yeah, I don't know, Jay, Wendy, anything else on that?
We have a comment here also from Uncle MG. It says, I think about Mordecai, who was stationed at the king's gate. Perhaps it was a first point of contact situation. And I think that's kind of goes along with what Jay was saying about, you go to church and there's people at the door or at the entrance. They're there to greet you. They're there to, connect with people. It's not guarding it exactly.